everyone. Bad news. I just seen the most sexist thing being published in a publication in 2021. But don't worry about it. No one is going to get fired. No one is going to get canceled because this is published in Harvard Business Review. In other words, if you're the type of individual that manspreads on the subway, well, that is very problematic. That is sexist. You might get in trouble with the authorities. But if you're going to say this in the Harvard Business Review, that's fine, okay? Because they have free speech. You know, they have freedom of the press. They can say whatever they want. So a little bit of context. As you may know, because of the pandemic, many people have been working from home. And this is a big problem for the managerial class, for the middle management, the type of people that enjoy nothing more than to thought police the employees, to micromanage every aspect of the employee's life, to make sure that they're spying, they're reading the employee's emails, and like the employee has no privacy whatsoever, right? Like these very important people realize that the company can exist without them. So they're freaking out. It's like, how can we let people work from home? Like the company might realize that our job isn't as needed. There can be fewer of us policing people electronically if they don't come at the office. So yeah, they're the first people that freak out. The second people that freak out are the people from academia, because now it's like, how is their ideology, which is in the name of diversity and equity and the holy inclusion, amen, going to be pushed upon the masses if the employees can work from home and you don't have the managerial class to listen in to what the employee talks with their wife. And like that is a big problem. Too much thinking for the employee. Finally, a lot of billionaires are upset. Like people who have invested money into constructing office buildings, people who own office buildings in order to flip them, to sell them at a higher price. Like all these people are very upset that employees work from home. Now, working from home, by the way, some people like it, some people don't. My personal opinion is that any company should allow people to choose. If they want to work from home and they can do their work on time and they can perform properly, what's the big deal? What's the issue? Why do they have to come to the office? Makes absolutely no sense. Now, there are other people who can't work from home. They can't get into a fixed schedule. Maybe they want to socialize a little bit more. Maybe they have other issues that they can focus on. They want to go at the office. Perfect. Let them go to the office. The company would save money if they allow people to work from home. You save more money on the electricity bill. You save more money by cutting off the middle management. Like I just don't see a downside in allowing workers to choose. But thankfully, we have the Harvard Business Review telling that you shouldn't let employees pick their work from home days, because that would be a little bit too fascist, allowing people too much to think. And get this, like I had to read this 3 times in order to make sure that I read correctly, because this is just like the most bewildering thing I have ever read from a progressive. I mean, the horseshoe theory is now complete. Hitler and Stalin are hugging each other. It's not a horseshoe anymore, it's a circle at this point. The second concern is the risk to the holy diversity. It turns out, get this, that who wants to work from home after the pandemic is not random. In our research, we find, for example, that among college graduates with young children, women want to work from home full-time almost 50% more than men. And we know that feminism and the left are pushing an ideology about liberation, right? Freedom, liberation, rising up against the man. And you can't just let women do what they want, right? Like, being free doesn't mean making your own choices, obviously. Being free means going to the office, right? Because it's good for women. Now, they may have a daughter at home that might miss her mommy, and she's a tough shit, okay? When she is going to be able to become 18 and work at a corporation, then the left will care about her. Right now, the left doesn't give a shit. The warm embrace of the state is probably who has to raise that little daughter, right? Like the mommy and daddy needs to be at work all time so that the television, social media, and the school can be the proper institutions that raise a child, right? The warm hands of the institutions. But that's not it, right? Like that's not it, because this is like just the first one. It's like we can't just let women do what they want. I mean, we know that 50% of women want to do this, So we need to stop them from doing this. We need to bring them back in the reservation. This is how these ideologues that claim to represent the interests of women think. The moment the women do what they want, you had a little bit too much to think. But listen to this. Listen to this. This is just like the worst thing that I have seen. Adding to this, you can see how allowing employees to choose their work from home schedule could contribute to a diversity crisis. Okay, so this is why we need fascism, I guess. This is why we need to control how people think, because otherwise it hurts diversity. Like if you just allow people to be free, then they're free to say the N-word, I guess. This is from Harvard Business Review. Alright, like what they're talking about is that people are like cattle and they need to be controlled. Because if you don't control people, then they make bad decisions. Listen to this. Single young men could all choose to come into the office 5 days a week and rocket up the firm, while employees with young children, particularly women, who choose to work from home several days each week are held back. I don't know if there's many people on the far right end of the spectrum that are this level of sexist. Okay, like they automatically assume that in a company, if you allow people to do what they want, the men are going to rocket the company. Like they are the productive ones. Like the men, the virgin men are rocketing the company, and the women just can't compete. This is what they're saying in the Harvard. Am I misinterpreting it? Okay, so this is bewildering. And they also say that the people who go to the office are more likely to be promoted. Why is that? Like you're literally admitting that it's not what you know, it's who you blow. It's literally admitting that unless you go to the office and you smile and you shake hands and you're being pleasant, like that is the good employee. That is the employee that needs to be promoted. The employee that has the most charismatic personality. Not the employee that's more productive. Not the person from home which manages to finish the schedule on time, manages to solve the problems on time, manages to do their job without any help. No, that employee is not going to be promoted unless he unzips the boss's pants. You know, like it's very disgusting what I see Harvard Business Review writing. Like if I were to make a video, I'm not even kidding, if I were to make a video and it would go viral, let's say it would get like 1 million views, and I would suggest that, you know what, like companies shouldn't allow employees to pick their work from home days and blah, blah, blah. And I would give this argument, like if you allow people to be free, women are going to sit home with their kids, men are going to rocket the office, like this article is saying, I would get the platform, I would get a community guideline strike for sexism, okay? Like there's no doubts about it. But for some reason, when they do it, and by the way, like this goes hand in hand with wokeism. That's the interesting part, all right? Like they treat their employees like cattle, but they're a progressive company because they champion diversity. So hey, if you're a leftist, don't look at this shit. Pretend it's not happening, all right? Because they're not capitalists, they're progressive. This is the reality. This is the world we live in, where you get like the left advocating for some of the worst capitalist excesses, but because of the fact that they're promoting diversity, leftist activist groups leave them alone. Because they're a progressive company. So I got a question for the leftards, which, by the way, are not all the ones, because I see like some Marxists, surprisingly, like I was a little bit surprised to see Marxists actually realizing the cancer that is wokeism, and they're realizing, you know, wokeism is just like capitalism on steroids. It's got nothing to do with the vision of Karl Marx. I disagree with these Marxists, but at least we can both agree that this is toxic, this is not okay. So let me understand something, right? A woman who wants to live at home in order to raise her kids, maybe do some house chores, that is a woman that's under the thumb of the patriarchy. Like that is a woman which is being oppressed. But a woman who has to work at a company 24/7 and has to suck the corporate cock, oh, that is liberating. That is freedom. That is what freedom looks like. The freedom to be at the corporate office 12 hours a day, to crunch, to spend overtime, to be overworked. That is what they consider freedom. That's a good thing. No one is calling it out, by the way. No one is saying it's like, oh, that a little bit, like this is a little bit messed up. And then they talk about China. They talk about China. They have the audacity to say, oh, like, in order to prove like what we're talking about, we got this worrying evidence that working from home while your colleagues are in the office can be highly damaging to your career. In a study in 2014 he ran in China with 250 volunteers. Motherfucker, you're the Harvard Business Review, right? How is a study with 250 volunteers going to prove the effects in a nation that can have over 80 million people like in the UK? How is the study relevant? How is the study done in China relevant to the UK? Like, you know that in Asia, for example, in Japan, sleeping on the job is actually a good thing because they view that you're dedicated to the company. Like, you're not even going home. Like, you're sleeping. It's a completely different culture. It's a completely different mindset. In China, if you want to say, as an example, they actually hire women to be cheerleading the people at work. So in IT companies, they hire beautiful women that will have lunch with the employees, that will play ping pong with the employees on their break, that will try to be nice with the employees to create the work environment where the employee just wants to go to work, right? Because he has a crush, I guess, on the corporate lady, and he's just wanting to go to work like that. You may think that is extremely sexist, that it's hard. That's what China does, okay? It's a different culture. You try doing this in the West, your company will be boycotted by progressive activists if you do something like this. They will call it sexist, they will call it misogynistic, they will call it all type of things. So why are you picking a study regarding how people are going to be treated if they work remotely, right? Like, all of this, just my take is that it's more bullshit, all right? Like, they're getting desperate because middle management is starting to realize, oh crap, we're almost like the communists used to call us, we're social parasites, like there's no need for us. Or if there is need for middle management, like maybe you can do with one diversity officer rather than 10. Like maybe you can pay only one person $200,000 a month rather than 10. So like all these companies are realizing, okay, we got a lot of fat that we can cut. So the activists and the university professors are freaking out because the middle management are the enforcers. They're the people that enforce this ideology. This is not an ideology that people like and they use because of genuine feelings and they think it's a good thing. Like maybe there are some people that legitimately believe, okay, wokeism is good. But from my personal experience, most people are afraid of it. Like most people do it just because they're told, right? Like they're being told, hey, if you don't do this shit, you're getting fired. If you don't have the correct terminology and you don't say the correct words, you're getting fired. So this is why they do it. And the second one is the billionaires that are freaking out because their office buildings aren't selling anymore. The prices are going down. So now they're losing money because these people, they flip buildings, okay? That's what they do. They buy cheap and they sell high. So now they had a big hard-on because the prices of buildings are going up now. Like everyone is buying a house, everyone is buying a home because people were staying indoors and they saved a lot of money. So they noticed like the property value is going up. But if people work from home and companies don't buy new property, they're losing money. So yeah, the billionaires are afraid, right? And in order to help the billionaires, you get this Harvard Business Review that a lot of leftists agree with, and they share with each other. It's like, yeah, absolutely, like we need to get people to work at the office. Absolutely disgusting. Like honestly, this is what I take from this. The face of the worst capitalist excesses disguised with a leftist smile. That's really sad that you get to see it happen again. This is what really angered me about it. And it's also like it's not important for the profits of the company anymore because we're into stakeholder capitalism now. Like the company profits aren't important. What's important is the ESG score, the diversity, right? You can't be seen as a company that doesn't have women in positions of power, even though no one can prove that you're doing anything sexist against women, even though they can't prove that you're marginalizing women or anything. Right? No, like unless you have it, you get a low ESG score, which means that you're a bad company. So profits don't matter. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the comment section.